Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here.
And I'm Abe.
I'm Jay.
And Josh too.
Hello everyone, I'm Joshua.
I'm Josh too.
And today we're going to be reviewing one of the newest films that came out this year, and that is the live-action Mulan remake from 2020.
You've been hiding something. I sensed it the moment I met you.
When they find out who you are, they will show you no mercy.
But only the most true will become a great warrior.
I will bring honor to us all.
Disney's Mulan. In theaters March 27th. Rated PG-13.
The film stars Lulu Yaffe. I'm probably really butchering that, so here's her name right here. Donnie Yen, Jason Scott Lee, and it's directed by Nikki Caro. Again, probably butchering that, if not, here's her name on the screen. The plot of Mulan is essentially basically the same plot as the original Mulan. It's about a, young woman who basically risks everything out of love for her family and her country, and ends up becoming one of the greatest warriors of China. It's actually, I do know this and the original movie is based on a kind of poem, actually, called The Ballad of Mulan, which I never read the original poem, so,
That'd be cool.
Yeah, maybe check it out. But yeah, it's basically the same plot as the original, and that, with a few liberties. We do have thoughts on this movie, so let's get right in. Oh wait, before we go into our thoughts, what are your just your experiences with the whole Disney Mulan films and just the story overall?
I really like the originals, or what you're asking about?
Yeah, and just the story,
So I really like the originals, but I can't remember the sequel.
I really like that. If you guys see my review, I really like the original Mulan. It was one of those films where I didn't remember much because it's been a while. So when I watched it for my review, I ended up really liking it, actually. Although I did have a few issues with that, so I was hoping that, I was really hoping that this film would fix some of those issues. And again, we'll get into my thoughts, but honestly, so again, I really liked the first one. I did watch Mulan 2 for the first time, I think, last year. I did not like Mulan 2. I really didn't.
See, and I remember liking Mulan 2 fine, but I can't really remember it, so, that could just be...
I mean, Mulan 2 absolutely frustrated me.
Because the original Mulan was so good.
Yeah, it's yeah, it just...
You said it made you glad to get rid of Mushu. So
Yeah.
That was one thing.
Yeah, which I always thought that... Okay, let's just get... Okay, before we get into any more of this, let's just get into our thoughts.
Okay. It was a very stunning movie.
I would say visually stunning, more so.
Yeah.
Honestly, we were watching it on my brand new LG 4K TV, and it looked incredible. It really did.
It was kind of hard to stop looking at it.
Yeah, it was kind of I was massively impressed with the visuals and that.
Yeah.
And I would say, honestly, in my personal opinion, this is probably the best live-action remake in terms of visual-wise for Disney. Lion King 2019 really didn't have it, you know. In fact, it kind of, in my opinion, made a lot of Africa look ugly. When, if you look at like, you know, actual stuff of Africa and stuff like that, it's beautiful to look at. So, and they just kind of made it look ugly for some reason.
Yeah.
So, and then also I saw the Beauty and the Beast one, that looked not great, 100%.
I had a lot of issues with the visual stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, this is probably the most visually stunning of the Disney live action remakes that I have seen so far. I haven't seen all of them. What else did we like about it?
Music.
Oh yeah, we like the music. Now here's the thing. Even though, like, because we knew going into it that it was going to be not a musical, and all the songs that were good in the original movie were not going to be present in this one. Although I actually do know, because we didn't stay for the credits, that there was a new version of one of the songs in the original film sung during the credits.
Why didn't you watch it?
I don't know. You can actually listen to the song on YouTube. There's even a music video for it.
Okay.
It's for the song Reflections in the original. So yeah, but I didn't hear it, so I can't really give my thoughts on that. But overall, the music that was composed for this movie was actually really good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind getting the soundtrack for it, especially if it has all the instrumental stuff with it.
Yeah.
Oh, another positive we have actually too, we actually did like some of the acting, like some of the actors in it. Actually.
Most of it. I
Most
thought
of it.
was pretty good, yeah.
There was
There was one that really stood out though.
yeah, and that was the actor who played Mulan's father, which what is his name? Let's see.
Probably
Yeah, like we'll pop his name right here. But he was really good as the father. I think he probably put out the best performance in the movie. Also, all the other actors were pretty good too. And there's only a few actors here that I have heard of. I've heard of Jason Scott Lee, who is one of the villains in this movie. That's another positive I would say. I think the villains in this movie had more to do than the villains in the original.
Yeah.
Honestly, because like the Huns in the original and that, completely forgettable.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember a single thing about, especially the main villain, outside of the fact that his eyes were in reverse color.
I remember him getting covered in the avalanche and popping out the bird. But
That's all I remember of that guy. Like, as he said the blandest of stuff, you know, stereotypical villain stuff, you know, and they honestly really didn't just do much with him in general.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy, I think, did a lot more than the original villain, actually. Also, like, I found it interesting that they added additional villain, sort of, in the movie with the witch.
Yeah.
Because she was not in the original film at all.
Right.
So,
It was a pretty good part of this one.
yeah, I mean, the actress did a pretty good job, I think. Honestly, I actually didn't mind the new actress for Mulan here, actually. I thought she did pretty good.
Yeah, I thought she did good.
Yeah. But, I mean, all these actors did a really great job. We really dug the action sequences,
Yeah.
too. Like, there's some visually stunning action sequences. But the pacing was pretty good for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, this movie is, like, how long would you say?
2 hours.
It's, like, almost a 2-hour movie. Did not felt like it. Like, how long did it felt to you?
Maybe half of that.
Half of that? So, like,
Well,
an
remember
hour.
the first time we paused it? I don't remember why we paused it, but we paused it. We had been watching it for like 40 minutes. I would have said maybe 10, 15 minutes
tops. Yeah.
The only one that really stuck with me was the unneeded sister part.
Yeah, that was a big one for me. It's like, why was that character even added?
Yeah.
You know, because she barely did anything. I didn't even know what that character was like as a person, and that there wasn't even much scenes between her and Mulan or her and the family.
You never really got.
So it's like, why even have that character in to begin with? It just felt unnecessary. In fact, I think what could have made that change more, like a bit more interesting, what if they made the witch character her sister instead? Like, you know, that could have been interesting. And with the whole thing, they were saying, like, you know, how they're the same and all that stuff, but took different paths. That could have been really interesting.
Right.
And that, I think, could have made for some bit more emotional stuff.
Yeah.
But they didn't go with that. So I'm like, and we're just stuck with this character who just feels completely pointless.
Yeah.
I still have no idea why that character was in the movie. I mean, the actress did fine, but it was completely pointless.
It wasn't like it was bad acting. It just there
Yeah.
was no direction.
Yeah, no direction. Like, in fact, it almost seemed like that character was just thrown on for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, literally no reason.
Right.
It's just like, if you're going to add a character like that, then do more stuff with said character. Like, because we didn't gotten to see anything in terms of, like, interactions. Like, we saw a little bit of interaction with her and Mulan, but that was about it.
Yeah.
And,
And maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes later.
yeah, it's like, and that's when they were, like, kids.
Right. And as an adult, probably another 4 or 5 minutes later.
Yeah, so it's like, why have that character in there?
Right.
You could cut her out of the movie and you wouldn't miss it. I didn't like the fact that, in general, they start off with Mulan as a little girl and that, and I mean, that would have been fine enough, but the fact that they did this whole thing with her chi and
She
that,
was
and
a
she
great warrior
already and that, whereas in the original, you know, like, she actually had to train to get to that point. And I felt much more, you know, because if the whole thing they're trying to do is, like, kind of empower women with this,
Right.
I felt much more empowerment for women in the original movie than I did here, you know?
Yeah.
So, mostly because it's a relatable thing, you know? I mean, for example, for me, do you think it took me, like, do you think I was already perfect with my films in general, or as good as I am now with very little? No. In fact, I've been working on and practicing this stuff for about 11 years now. So, a full decade. A little more than a decade. And I'm still having to learn stuff. And having to perfect my craft more.
Well, you probably always will be, because that's how
Yeah.
real life works, right?
Yeah, and the fact that it's like I don't think that's good messaging from Disney. Like,
Because
for,
then you're telling kids that you expect them to be perfect from...
you know, day one,
Right.
you know, and it's like, no. So, that really bothered me. If they hadn't done that, if they still could have showed her when she was a kid and all that stuff to begin with, but if they had not done that, then it would have, my rating would probably go a little bit higher. Another issue is, while I thought they did more things with the villains in this movie than they did in the original, I feel like they could have done more,
With the witch.
like, just more in general with the villains, you know? So, I mean, because, yeah, just in general, just done more with the villains. So with that said, I'm going to give Mulan 2020 a 4 out of 5 stars.
I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5.
But honestly, for me, Mulan 2020 wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
At all, really.
Yeah,
'Cause
and
we expected, like...
complete
pretty rough,
dumpster
yeah.
fire, because, like, especially with how Disney's been putting out their remakes and all that too, with what we just been hearing about the film. I mean, everybody was treating this film like
It was awful.
it was awful. I mean, knowing that too, the fact that this film bombed in China, it was a box office bomb in China, and even I've seen reviews of, like, people from China did not like this movie, even, and I'm like,
Why?
yeah, why? I don't get it. I mean, so, I really enjoyed this film. I don't think, in my opinion, it's as good as the original, because there's some things I thought the original did better with.
Right.
So, but then there's sometimes I think this film did some things better than the original. So it's kind of even with that. But honestly, for me, like, I probably would put the original on more than this one. But I would still much rather watch this one than Mulan 2, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm the opposite with you. I think I'd put this one on more than the original, but they're pretty close.
I guess for me, because Mulan, like the original, was one
Very nostalgic.
nostalgic, so that's probably why I'd put it on more.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and maybe one day when we're 60, this one will be nostalgic.
yeah. Maybe.
I look back and like, oh, we watched a couple good movies that crappy year.
So that's it for this review. Thank you guys for watching, and just stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
Josh is out.